Here we go. I put my hand up and the camera just automatically started. So I just said, you know what? I'm just going to roll with it. Turn down your music a little bit, Chi. I don't know how overpowering this audio is. But anyway, hello. It's been a while since we made a video. And it's for multiple reasons. Obviously, the most recent is that I met a whole other human being that is right here. So that's one reason. And then just before that, just so many things in life just happening. So many transitions, so many things we went through that I'm just sitting here like, when was the last video I made? What was I talking about? How long ago was it? And I don't know. So many things happen. But right now we are trying to get back into our gardening era, living in our best gardening life. So we're in this amazing greenhouse and the wind is blowing, so it feels really nice, but the sun is also super shiny. And yeah, so Chi just worked on putting this up a couple days ago, and a couple of plants are in here right now. And he's going to be, or rather he is right now fixing it up a little bit, putting down a tarp, which is adding a lot of beautiful lighting for me. I would say, but it makes me want to squint a lot because it's so shiny, but it feels good at the same time. So I think what I'm gonna make this video about is just my pregnancy, you know. So we found out we were pregnant last year, like May or something like that. We had just gotten the school bus and we were just working on fixing it up, and that's around the time. So it was perfect timing because we were in our little van on our property, still figuring out like what kind of housing situation we wanted to move forward with. But I was very passionate about a school bus, very passionate about it. And it's like the universe just heard me loud and clear one day, or maybe I just sent in the message loud and clear one day. And we were driving by, or I don't remember who saw it, if it was me or Chi or something, but actually I think it was him. He drove by and saw it for $800. And I was like, you saw a school bus for $800? We are getting it. But first I wanted to see like what condition it was in and stuff like that, and it was in really good condition. Like you could probably drive kids in it, good condition kind of a thing. But we knew there would be a lot to do, like taking out all the seats and learning what that's all about. So if you were following on our Instagram, I was posting a little bit about it there. But you know, making content is not for the faint of heart. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of sometimes planning and cutting videos and stuff like that. But anyway, so that kind of just fell off. And I like this format because I just get to talk like I'm talking to a friend and share what's going on, and ta-da, I don't have to like super edit it, but I can talk for a couple of minutes. So anyway, saw the bus, fell in love with it. I was like, we need it, we want it, we have to get it. Let's figure out how to get it on our property. Of course, I was thinking there's like this awkward bend to get in our property, so I wasn't sure if we would even make it in here. But you know, we called the tow company, we figured it out, we paid the guy for the bus, and then it was here in a couple of days. And it was like, oh my god, this is really happening. But I knew I didn't want to have a second child until we were out of the van, because it was just way too small. Wouldn't be able to handle it. Fine for living in, but even that was getting taxing, you know, like I wanted to wake up and stretch my arms and stuff like that, and not being able to, or working out, doing some yoga, that eventually became tiring. I tried to do it in the canopy, but on rainy days it was difficult. But it was three of us, 2 grown adults and a kid in a van. Like eventually it had to go, you know, it had to change. So just the price, the timing, like we had just gotten the tax money and everything, so it was just perfect alignment. The bus rolls up here, it fits, it doesn't go exactly where we want it to go. So I think that was our thing. We wanted the bus to be facing this way in the back, but because of, you know, the property ain't perfect enough for the tow truck to just drop it in the way we envisioned. We already kind of guessed it wouldn't happen that way, so we picked the second best spot, and that's where I ended up dropping it this way instead of this way. And you know what? It actually is working out. It's working out. It's great. Because now we get to put our greenhouse here, and we still are having a beautiful view of our whole property in the front or in the back. Okay. But anyway, we get it. Find out we're pregnant, so we're like, yeah, we gotta fix this bus up with like a little bit more gusto. So we worked on it. It's not completely finished. There's still little things that we're gonna have to work on, but we're gonna get there. You know, the slow and steady route is something we're always committed to, but we still sometimes fall into the trap of like, we need it fast and we need more money and we need this to be done faster, etc. But I just said, hey, I want these things to be done in the bus before the baby gets here, and I'm comfortable like taking our time after that, and those things were met. But anyway, found out we were pregnant, and I knew, I wouldn't say I knew immediately that I was gonna get pregnant or anything like that, but I was in the canopy, I was cooking, and I kept feeling faint. And it was really weird because I'm always in the canopy cooking, even on a hot day. So to feel that way, I just knew something was off, and it kept happening. And so I was like, immediately I knew, I was like, I am pregnant. But let me take a test first, you know, just in case. So went to Cost-U-Less, and I used their facilities. It's like a Costco. And that's where I found out I was pregnant, and I come out of the bathroom bawling. I'm like, oh my God, I'm pregnant, G. And we were just hugging and just having like a whole moment in there, but we knew, you know, things are about to be different. And this baby was immediately very, very different. They were just like, I felt them move very early, like 3-4 months. I was feeling movement from them. Whereas with Z, I didn't feel him till like 7-8 months in. And just other things, like the way my emotional being and my spiritual being was getting organized. I also knew that like there was really a person in here, and it was almost like we were just sharing that energy of you know, just when a person is having a baby and you're in tune with the baby, you start to like feel their individual energy and their individual like essence. And so I feel like I just tapped into this richness of like emotion and spirit while being pregnant with this baby. Name will be dropped eventually soon, but I'm not saying his name. I'm not showing his face for now. I can't help but show the back of his head because he's got to be up a couple of times. But anyway, yeah, so it was a very beautiful pregnancy for the most part. I definitely cried a lot in the first trimester because, oh man, I could only eat raw foods for a while. Like, and that broke me because I'm just watching them eat cooked food, and I just wanted my cooked food too. But the appetite changes in the first trimester. So I just was not able to get that. And it was rough for a while until my appetite came back, and the puking and the peeing in the night a million times, and just losing, because I had just gotten Zero off breastfeeding about 6 months prior to that. So I was just getting my body back, if you will. And so it was just really different to just be in that space again of like, I'm sharing my body with another entity, and I'm trying to do my best to make sure that they come in very healthy and such. The second trimester was definitely the best. You know, you're glowing, people can see you're pregnant, and you're not hurling, you can eat, you're still able to move and do yoga and things. And then the third trimester is when things took a little bit of a turn I wasn't expecting. We had done the blood work, and we weren't worried about my hemoglobin and hematocrit levels at that time. And I just had some appetite sensitivities or challenges. So like I just was not paying attention to what I was eating. I just was like, I just need to eat. But then we did a second blood test and my levels were really, really low. And of course, I had that sense of dread, like, oh my gosh, I am that vegan who does not have enough protein in their diet, because I just ate whatever, the same things I usually eat with Z. So I figured it was going to be a similar experience, but I don't know, maybe it's because like I'm older. Maybe the baby and my body are demanding different things. It's hard to say exactly why I was a little bit more protein deficient, but I definitely was not eating enough variety of things at that time because my appetite was just so specific. So yeah, so then it was at such a level that there was a fear that me or the baby may not have an easy time. Can you bring me the fan from inside?
Okay.
Thank you. Just unplug it. Thank you. There was a fear that me or the baby might have some complications during the birth. So we attacked it on a very aggressive level. I feel like I was so afraid, and I took the advice to supplement my diet with animal. And I really didn't want to. Like after I had the conversation with my midwife, like I bawled and I kept bawling and I kept bawling and I kept bawling. Thank you, my love. You can let it go. Thank you. I cried a lot. And let me tell you, I did not think that, first of all, that I would ever be told that I would have to maybe eat animal protein. And because I didn't want to compromise me or the baby, it was like I have to do what is right in that moment. And you have to realize, like, I've been on this vegan journey probably really solid for about 5 years, minus like accidental slip-ups that were not of like my choosing, like, oh, somebody put something in the food that they weren't supposed to. So I was very solid in my veganism. I'm about it, right? So this news really threw me because I don't want to eat no animals. Like, I'm just so over that life. Like, it's just not in my perspective, in my viewpoint. But there it was, staring me in the face. And I bawled because I didn't realize like how much I had given it up and didn't want to invite it back into my space, into my life, and that there's a possibility that I might have to. And I was just not in it took me out. So we bought I said, you know what, let me start with fish, because I feel like of all of the animal proteins, that's probably going to be like the easiest one to work with for me. And I ate, I don't know what it is. I asked Chi to handle it for me. I was like, this is what I'm feeling for, that I think I could want, but it was so hard for me to even pick because it's just not in my radar, you know? So I asked him to pick. He picked. He made me something the first day. It didn't taste disgusting. I feel like he did like a good job cooking it and stuff like that. But I don't know. I was just like, why was I so hyped on eating animal flesh? Like, it's just not, it just wasn't hitting. Like, I just didn't get it. And that's fine for me, right? In my experience, I just was not getting it. I was like, oh, this is it, whatever. But then the next 3 days, I also had to make sure I was eating more food, because I did also need to eat a little bit more food. Like, I just wasn't putting on additional weight enough, I feel, as well, like compared to Z. So yeah, anyway, was trying to eat more and trying to eat fish. And let's just say the first day the fish stayed down, but after that it did not. Every time I put some in my mouth, it was up in less than 5 minutes, just puking it all out. So we had to reassess, and that's when I realized that like I really made that choice to eat animal again out of fear, but also because I didn't want anything to happen to me or my son at that time. So of course I was willing to do whatever I was willing to do. I went through like the whole battle and like, is this right? I don't want any animals to die from me, and my child to live, and like I just went through everything. But in that moment I was just very panicked, and I didn't think like oh, I should just research this and find other ways. But because my protein was so low, we thought that perhaps that was the only way to make it come back up fast enough. Yeah, you good? But it was not. Turns out it was not. So with a more clear-headed perspective and not feeling like I have to make a decision that day, which is what it felt like. I got the call at like 11 a.m. and it felt like I had to make a decision. Eat the meat right now to save you and your child, right? So there was definitely some fear in there in that decision making, but once we were able to step back and see that my body was literally rejecting it anyway, we had to find other solutions. And I didn't want to talk about it with anybody. Like, I felt ashamed that I ate it. But now I'm in like a good space, like, hey, I made the best decision I could at that time, and that's that. But came around again to realizing, like, oh, there's like more dense plant protein that can be taken. So I did a combination of, make sure I'm eating more tofu and beans. And I started eating rice as well to help me bulk up, because I had also given up rice. It gives me mad dandruff. But I had to incorporate that into my diet. And I also was craving it, very interestingly enough. Let me see what else. I did these, what do you call them? These pills. They're like red blood cells pills, but it's just literally a bunch of plants grated down into dust, and then they put it into a capsule. What do you call that? What do you call that pill that I was taking? I forget.
I don't know, like vitamin code or something.
Yeah, vitamin code. Healthy red Hemaplex. There we go. So I was taking like 2 Hemaplex a day. The yellow dock with nettle tea. Yeah, those were the 3 things. Yeah, increase my plant protein, the Hemaplex, the nettle plus yellow dock were the 3 things I did, and it drastically changed my blood work, pretty much. So it was proof, not just to me, but just to like anybody out there. If you feel like you're deficient in protein, you can change those numbers a lot easier than you may think. A lot easier. It's just those things I did. And I was pregnant, and it made a huge difference. So now I don't take yellow dock more, mostly because I forget. I was drinking a lot more nettle tea, but I haven't been making any. But I still take my Hemaplex, which again, it just is like 30 something fruits and vegetables and herbs condensed into like a little pill, just like a vitamin. And I learned a lot about protein and balancing the diet and such. But the reason we were concerned about my hemoglobin levels was that we didn't want me to bleed out during the pregnancy. And of course there was that thought, like, I might have to go to like the hospital just in case or something like that. But I really wanted a home birth, and I just had to sit with it in my spirit that is what is going to happen for me, and that is what happened for me. And my midwife had actually moved out of the state, but I was able to get her back here, thankfully. And so I had all the support I needed to feel confident going through with a home birth. And it was different than Zero's, because, first of all, with Z, I started laboring. I was in labor for many hours, like 19 total. And then once my water broke, he came in like less than 20-30 minutes. He was out. With him, my labor started like 4 or 5 o'clock. My water broke around 6, and then he was out around 10. So it was different. I thought, water break, he's gonna be here. But the good thing is, like, my midwife was already in town. She was only like about an hour away. But it was like, oh, it might be possible. But we had also prepared in case she wasn't able to make it, that me and she would have to do the birth ourselves anyway. But yeah, it turned out great. And I did lose a little bit of blood, but it was not like a concerning amount. And then I was on bed rest, just bed to bathroom for like 40 days. I just made sure I healed myself as much as I could. But after that, like, it was hard, you know, the first 3 weeks, because my boobs are different again. They're swollen, they hurt. His umbilical cord was bleeding at one point, and there was like this worry. But you know, use some Golden Seal, and that mofo is natural, and we'll get it off for you, so you don't have to worry. So Golden Seal for the navel, y'all. Thank you, baby. So yeah, we went through that, and then what else? Just like the general body getting back into like a healing place. And around 30 days, I felt, minus, you know, breastfeeding now, like I felt like myself again. And that was nice. And then I started walking around the yard with the baby. The baby loves being outdoors as much as my little boy Z loves being outdoors. So we love that for us. And after all of that, you know, Chi was such a freaking champion through all of that. Like, if he was worried, I did not know. He didn't tell me he was worried about certain things till after, thank goodness. You know, he was just my rock through that experience. Because if he was worried too, I would have been, it would have been extra harder for me. But he worked his 40 hours and came home and cooked for me, and was doing like literally everything that I was doing before. He took on the whole kitchen work, cleaning up work, helping Z with things, taking him to his gymnastics. Like, he was handling all of the motherly responsibilities. And now we're finally back in a space where we're, you know, my roles are coming back to me, his roles are going back to him. We're not fully there yet because, you know, the baby's only what was it, 7 weeks or 8 weeks old? 2 months and change old. So, you know, we're still getting there until the baby can like hold up their head a little bit better. But yeah, the baby's doing super good, hitting all the milestones. Fun facts about them. We'll talk to you if they're laying down and they want to be, pretty much want to be picked up and entertained. But as soon as I'm holding him, he doesn't want to talk to anybody. And I will always kind of also joke that everybody thought that I was going to have a girl. They had so many theories. But it was a lot of projection. Okay, if you're watching this video and you were like, you're going to have a girl, it was projection. The aesthetic of having a boy and then a girl is very appeasing. But in my heart of hearts, I never answered the question. But in my heart of hearts, I felt like it was going to be a boy. I was just like, I just feel like I'm a boy mom. Like, of course I want a girl. That does not mean that I don't want a girl or I wouldn't have welcomed a girl. It was just the energy of what I was feeling was that it was going to be a boy. But I didn't say anything when people asked me the question. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be. We're just going to see. It's going to be a surprise for everybody. So yeah, let me see other cool things about him. He looks almost like Z when Z was his age. I mean, if it wasn't for the difference in baby clothing and blankets, I might low-key have a little bit of a hard time figuring out which baby is which because they look so much alike. But as he's getting a little bit older, I see some differences, especially in like the eyes and the hair. And Zero had like a larger hairline when he was a baby versus this one. But this one is like very vocal. Like, Zero was so quiet. Like, I feel like he tricked me. He made me feel like I could have a second baby because that baby would give me a really easygoing pregnancy, a really easygoing birth, and they would be like the quietest baby. Like, I remember our landlord saying, I forgot you had a baby because I never hear them cry. And Zero barely cried, so much that we were able to move into a van and live on the island in the van. That's how quiet he was. He was like the perfect kid for that. But this kid, we could never live in a van with them because they are loud. If they want you to pick up, they're gonna let you know. If the diaper needs change, they're gonna let you know. If they want the food, they're gonna let you know. Very strangely, he's very quiet right now. I think he just likes his position of laying across my leg. I think I found a magic position right now. But yeah, this baby is a vocal. And if you know anything about human design, I'm a generator. Chi is a manifester. Z is a manifester, but this one is a projector. And projectors are all about like organizing energy. And like I said, I just felt that in the pregnancy, like we gotta organize our life. We gotta like put things together and such. So yeah, that was the story of birth, and then an update of what we're doing, which is moving back into our gardening era, and then trying to make videos again. Okay, that one cut me off, but pretty much, yeah, that's the update. Greenhouse and trying to grow more fruits. Not fruit, yeah, fruit trees and herbs and things like that. We are working on that again, because at the end of the day, it's all about sustainability and growing your own. We just want to give that to our kids, that like no matter what goes on in the world, and that was like such a good lesson to learn from COVID, is that no matter what's going on in the world, if you have a place to stay and you know how to grow your own food, no matter what madness, and catch your own water, you will have something. So that's the lesson we are trying to emphasize with our kids, and just a reminder for ourselves. And I'm just so grateful that I grew up in Jamaica and she grew up in the Philippines, and for us to even be able to find each other on OkCupid, you know, 9 years ago. Also, almost happy anniversary to us. We're about to hit 9 years, which is mind-boggling. I can't believe we've been together almost a freaking decade. Like, that's so cool, because it still feels young and cute, you know. It still feels young and cute. Like this young and cutie. This dude is so freaking smart. He says some mind-blowing things, as you know, kids tend to do. He also loves outdoors. Oh my gosh, you see him? He loves being out here with his dad, watering plants, snipping, I forget the words, I'm gonna say snipping plants, all of that. I'm excited to get back out here. I'm pretty much stuck on feeding duty, and that's okay, because that's part of it, and breastfeeding duty is part of it. And yeah, so yeah, that's the update. We'll be making more videos about what we're doing out here, trying to get back into gardening, and being farmers and herbists, and like doing all of those things. And I don't know how many of these we're going to be making. I don't know nothing about the consistency or like what is going to be from here on, but that's what we're hoping for. Yeah, so that's it. It's so awkward to end, but thanks for watching. And I want to say like and subscribe, but that just does not feel authentic to me, so I'm not gonna say that. Just thanks for watching. Have a good one.